What's up, guys? I am back on the camera. Tune in. Just a quick life update, really and truly. I'm going to try and not waffle on and try and stay on page. I have a tendency to just go off the tangent and a video ends up being longer than it should be. But yes, I'm gonna kick things off with just health and fitness. So health-wise, fitness-wise, it was kind of tied in together, really and truly. Last weekend on the Sunday, I had a 10K marathon and I did my personal best at that marathon, 42 minutes, 10K, and equally got my fastest mile and my fastest 1K and my fastest 5K at probably 21 minutes. Now, I hadn't been trained because I have a skin condition, eczema, and that particular dermatitis had me in situations where if I'm in a room and it's got a hot temperature, you know, my flare-ups begin and I start itching and scratching and so on. And I was very much reluctant to taking care of my health and getting that looked at, really, as well as just getting my repeat prescription. So equally as well, when it came to training, vigorous training, you're gonna sweat, and I was sweating. So essentially that's exactly what happened. And I wasn't able to just pretty much train. So I didn't train as much at all. However, I am very much proud of myself for achieving such a personal best, really, after not having, trained. But I'm gonna put that little, clips from the day. I'm in the video, so you guys can just sort of see that as well. Now, business-wise, I'm gonna kick things off with WearLivin Finance. WearLivin Finance, where we left off, I was pretty much in the process of getting the AAT license in place. Application that went through, and unfortunately, my virtual assistant did miss out on an email that required us to pay some form of administration fee. And they had actually sent emails and emails and emails following up and chasing up. So that kind of put us on the back burner because we couldn't get reimbursed for the application fee, simply because of them chasing up and they had reached a due date, essentially. So we're gonna have to do the application again. So yeah, I was quite, it kind of just put me in the back. And I think these certain distractions, they're there to sort of, certain things happen and then they are disguised as distractions that will make you kind of just take a seat back and not aggressively move on, because essentially the application and doing it again is always, all through a sense of urgency. You do it because you're urgent. You feel the sense of urgency to do the application again and so on. However, I didn't use the time wisely since that whole deal happening. Of course, having a conversation with my team member and how he should really prioritize, certain emails that go through my inbox. Those chase-ups, those things have to be prioritized at the end of the day. Now, in the meantime, what we were doing was service development. I have my lead finance specialist, Suresh, all the way in India. I have my finance administrator / executive personal assistant, Nicola, all the way in South Africa. And they come together, put their heads together and just pretty much run the day-to-day. Nicola pretty much runs my day-to-day finances in terms of business and personal. I didn't wait until I had, $1 million or £1 million, a million Swiss francs, a million anything in my name to kind of have that in place. I just wanted to have that financial discipline within my business, within my personal life, and within, say, my charitable causes, to just have everything all, have effective bookkeeping throughout my life, throughout my business, to have a nice clear view snapshot of where I am financially and taking that in, embracing that accountability, right? If I'm not where I'm supposed to be, these are the figures. Not, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, what should I do? At least I have the figures. We have documentation, we are tracking. So whatever can be tracked can be improved. So yes, at the moment, Suresh was doing service development. Now, essentially, with WearLivin Finance, what we're gonna be doing is financial cleanups, financial catch, and 3-tiered bookkeeping services. Now, I don't want to go into the ins and outs because this would be a separate video, but essentially, if you have Xero, if you have QuickBooks or any other bookkeeping software or accounting software, essentially, if you had the particular platform and perhaps done a little bit of bookkeeping but you left it off because you were a busy entrepreneur, you're a busy solopreneur, you're a busy business personnel. So you put your time into other things, or your craft or your service. So in essence, your books are not up to date. So we come in and pretty much start categorizing, reconciling, and that is essentially that financial catch up. Now the cleanup is if it's all over the place. Same goes equally as well. The catch up is pretty much something had been started but left off, wherever it had been left off. So the catch up could be from anywhere else, from anywhere. And the cleanup, they sort of just coincide. They sort of just are in parallel, together, right? So any bookkeeping can't be done unless there's a cleanup or a catch up at least, because that means reconciling your books up to date. And bookkeeping is then the ongoing process of that documentation, categorizing summaries, generating reports. You got your cash flow statements, and understanding your expenses and that analysis as well. So all those things can be done until your books are up to date. So our first service, first tiered bookkeeping service would be the Starter Pro. Just getting around to remembering these names. Of course I did at the top of my head, but Starter Pro, the Starter Pro service. So this particular service is for solopreneurs and freelancers. And I had it in mind from my perspective, but I tasked Suresh to look at it from his perspective, a much more holistic perspective. And he has 15 plus years of experience. So he looked at it from his lenses. And I said, well, I need you to come up with this particular service, with this package. And that's exactly what he did. And we had a meeting over it. And he's going to do the same for the two remaining other services, which is Growth Plus and Value Max. Now, I'm going to try and fit in a little clip from the meeting we had with Suresh.
The Starter Pro, really, we're not looking to have, the biggest of entrepreneurs or the biggest of accounts. It's more or less to accommodate the people just starting off, and like you're saying, the 1 to 2 and 1 to 60 transactions. I guess that works best well for ourselves.
Okay, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, if month 1 we take on a client now and they are within that 1 to 60 transactions within those bank accounts, really, month 2 they fall out of that scope and probably exceed to maybe 61, 65, 60 to 65. Where does that sort of leave us? Do they then have to jump into the next package? However, if the following month, the third month, if they drop down back to 1 to 60 transactions, where do we sort of protect ourselves and also in terms of charging them, you see? So how do we sort of mitigate that part?
Right. If you can look at the title of that particular section, transaction limitations, in the bracket, I've mentioned add-on options available beyond the limit. Okay. We have to set the price per 10 transactions.
Okay.
So they can opt for the add-on for the particular month.
Okay.
They'll still continue in the same package, but for that particular month, add-on package will be added to them.
Got you. So
regarding the service development for the Starter Pro service, because we had to keep it in line of the scope of work. Okay, 1 to 60 transactions between 1 to 2 debit cards, 1 to 2 credit cards, 1 to 3 loan accounts, right? So we need to ensure that we don't scope creep and end up doing what we're not supposed to do. And even if a client is to have more than 60 transactions, how would we price them in a way that's best effective for them as much as it is for ourselves? Those were the things we were discussing. That's WearLivin Finance. PrestineLivin. Yesterday received the last email regarding, the last paycheck from commercial office cleaning. Now, it's been a long time coming, wanting to just move on, and focus on things that are a bit more higher leveraged, a bit more things that, would interest me or spike me. And, it's a blessing to have done the solar panel cleaning, because it opened my mind. Oh, there's best ways and best practices to not use jet washers. We can use solar robots. We can use water-fed poles and brushes and that sort of thing, and the efficiency. Now, what it's got me to is the software part of efficiency, of operational and maintenance. It's still an untapped, market, very much blue ocean, but they are some first movers. They are some first movers in terms of, yes, they are solar robot cleaners. They are water-fed poles. There is software behind it all, and people having predictive analysis for when there's a need for an inspection or there's a defect, diagnostics, whatever. There are softwares behind that. And now we are in an AI boom. So it would be crazy not to take advantage of the boom that we're in, done correctly and sustainably. So yes, I have been looking into funding opportunity, investments within the operational and maintenance side of things for solar panels or solar PV, right? Because that's how it kicked off. I cleaned 1,000 solar panels, not by myself, but with a team, but I hand cleaned, I was there, right? So effectively, what the industry needs is a very much an efficient way, right? I'll read some of the things that I did have here, right? An AI-driven predictive maintenance platform to integrate real-time weather data and sensor-driven insights for automated maintenance scheduling, right? So looks into the weather forecast, the weather, historical data on the weather, historical data on the rain quality, depending on where the site is, depending on where the solar farm is. And we're talking about large scale solutions here. Large scale solutions where one panel out of tens of thousands is probably causing such a defect because it's simply dirty. And there's no way there's no way you're going to come and service one panel amongst, 10,000 that are not causing a defect. You can't come and service it with the same resources that you would have done 10,000 panels. So those type of solutions, how can we resolve them with technology, with AI? That's where my brain is. That's where my mind is right now. It sounds crazy trying to run 2 startups at the same time, but it will all make sense to people as to why I'm running 2 startups at the same time. And WearLivin Finance, I didn't want to go back into that, but also been producing some info product in the sense of financial toolkits, spreadsheets with about 40 plus spreadsheets on different things, whether it's your subscriptions, whether you're saving for a holiday, small business owner spreadsheets and so on, multi-license things. So that's all part and parcel. But the way it would integrate is, with this growing attention and the personal branding thing, we're gonna be I'm gonna be, vocal and talking about all these things. And again, blue ocean, no one's really talking and doing this stuff, right? Within solar O&M, so that's gonna bring attention. That's gonna bring an audience. I just joined the FFG group, Connect group. That's with Dean Forbes. So thrilled. And also pursuing these incubators, also pursuing these financing options. But what I'm trying to say is, with this camera that I'm going to carry around, that's going to bring attention, right? And with the attention and an audience, most people don't really have an infrastructure to even monetize it. Our solar operational and maintenance efforts are not going to be applicable to everyone. That's just the truth, even to most commercial and industrial sites, right? Because they have to have a vast amount of solar panels, right? We're talking about solar farms, and we're talking about, we want to be licensing this particular software to asset managers, to asset owners, so, and also then integrating the other stakeholders, like you have your solar installers, your operational and maintenance companies. But that's what I'm saying is it's not going to be applicable to everyone. But what will be applicable to most would be our financial services, our bookkeeping services, our financial cleanups, getting you along with the right, tax consultant, right accountant for tax to file your taxes, depending on the jurisdiction that you are in, right? Those are the things that will be applicable to the audience that's going to be trailing me around this journey. So, hey, why not? You know what I mean? So it's all about market share. It's all about market share and just capturing and make sure you capture all those leads. You capture everyone who's in tune and everyone who believes in your vision, and you're able to communicate that vision, to people. So that's really where it's at. I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm learning to not lean towards my own understanding, but God's understanding, and to just be comfortable in my own skin, whatever I'm wearing, whatever I'm doing. wherever stage I'm at, I'm just comfortable in my own skin, and I'm learning to be comfortable and confident in my own skin, and that's just where I'm at the moment. But nonetheless, guys, I am happy to be alive. I'm happy and grateful to have these opportunities to speak to you guys and share my journey, and just keep going and learn and fall and get back up and learn and go and fall back and keep doing that. So I am grateful and I'm happy. So wherever you are, I'm wishing you the best. Whatever you want in life, put your mind to it, be obsessed, and understand it's not going to be easy, but just go. So I'm rooting for you. Wherever you are, just keep it going and create the life you want to live. You can do it. I can do it. So you can do it. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and tune in. We're only beginning. This is just the beginning.